Our favorite type of videos. It's time to do a market watch on the Hot Toys market. Let's get updated and let's take a look at how prices are trending, what figures are up, what figures are down, what is the momentum. This is 6Go Economist. Let's jump right into it. What is going to? Welcome to a video. This is 6Go Economist. In today's video, we are doing the Hot Toys, Star Wars, and Marvel market watch. Here, we're going to take a look at different prices of Hot Toys in the secondary market, see which ones are trending up, see which ones are trending down, see if we can gather some information on what the overall trajectory is of the market. If you guys enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button. Post types of videos like this all the time. Really enjoy making these, so let's just jump right into it. First thing that I want to talk about, very interesting, is the Remnant Trooper. So as we know, the Remnant Trooper retail, I believe it retailed for $205. A lot of people were kind of skeptical on this one, not the hottest one from the Mandalorian line. Weren't really interested in it as such. It wasn't that demanded, and it only had one batch come out, and so it's not doing anything like the Mud Trooper, but it's super interesting how quickly it actually has risen. It's been waitlist now for, call it, 3 weeks or a month as of the recording of this video. And usually I look at sold listing, but this is a really important listing I want to highlight. $295, 23 people watching. I sold a lot of stuff on eBay, and usually when you get to above 15 people watching an item, that means that your item is probably going to sell in the next few days. So to see that this figure, $295, and I've seen this figure multiple times in Facebook groups get listed for $280 and actually sell, which is actually a pretty meaningful, move for this guy. Which I think we can learn from this, that supply is really important. Obviously, this figure is probably quite undersupplied and under-demanded, and as a result, you might have a figure that might go up a bit. So, really interesting to see that happen with this one. Moving along, we always got to check in on Dark Side Anakin. Dark Side Anakin, he's basically he's definitely trending up a little bit. He pitted about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks to a month ago, he was probably pitting again at $450. That's basically the floor for this figure. When this figure gets to $450, you see a lot of people that don't have it go in and try and scoop it. Obviously, the highs of this figure is closer to $700, $750 back in call it May. So right now, kind of just hanging out around the $550 price point. And that's basically what he's going. He probably goes for maybe $500, $480 on Facebook. So, pretty solid. I would say this one right now is kind of just par for the course. Emperor, quite interesting. Actually seems like he's been trending upwards a little bit. Seems like more people are going in trying to pick up this guy. He basically, he retailed for $315, basically sat around there for, the better part of 5 months after selling out. Starting to see an uptick a bit. I really like this figure. The all black look isn't great, but having him with his throne is just a really important figure to have on your display shelf. Some of these, selling for as much as $450, also some of them selling $370, $315 range. So obviously this one is pre-owned, which is why I went on bid for $315. It's a great figure that I like. I think that $400, $450 is probably where this figure will eventually settle. But it's an important character to have in a lot of people's Star Wars collection. So I guess it's supportive for the overall Star Wars market to see this guy finally start to trend upwards a little bit. Take a look at a Marvel figure. Again, another great key indicator that we like to look at is the Homecoming Deluxe. This guy's selling just about a week ago for $355 on bid opened. I would say that's closer to the lower end of this guy. Obviously pre-owned, this guy usually sells in when he's doing well, he's usually selling in around the 375-ish, 400-ish mark opened. Unopened is probably closer to 450, 475. So he's, closer to the higher end of his range. But definitely not at the highs. This is a great figure to keep an eye on, though, if you are trying to get an overall gauge on the Marvel market, as he tends to outperform other Marvel figures. This one is just more of a generic thing. Just take a look at some of the other generic Marvel figures. Overall, Marvel is just isn't really in the spotlight, so it's kind of been like that for a while. I think it's gonna be an important catalyst. We need to see if Scarlet Witch continues to just sell, though. I mean, this was 2 days ago, $515 opened. She refuses to go down. She ignores market trends. It doesn't take a genius to realize that Marvel is not in the spotlight right now. It will get its time. It will get its time again. Is this a good time to pick up Marvel figures that you really want when the market's in a lull? Yes. Do I think you're in a rush? Not really. I think you really just need a catalyst for this market to come back. Maybe it's the new Black Widow movie coming out, but with coronavirus, obviously it's getting delayed, which is not helping. Star Wars is very lucky that Mandalorian Season 2 wrapped filming before the coronavirus started. so it's able to support Star Wars in the secondary market. But again, Marvel kind of sitting in this lull. Nothing too crazy to report on that front. R2-D2, up. I mean, this figure sat at retail for, what, a year, probably, after it sold out. And all of a sudden, I was, was taking a look at the market the other day, and I was like, wow, R2. 365, 375 best offer accepted, so I guess it's hard to tell what that one was. 350 for a brand new one. I mean, that's up for this guy. What did he retail? I think 230. Really meaningful move for him. I guess these people just want to have the R2 new collection. Really interesting. If you have an R2, I actually would maybe just sit on it for a bit. The second we get a Hot Toys C-3PO, this guy is going to do very well. With that being said, I would expect Hot Toys to do some type of re-release with R2 whenever the day comes that they give us C-3PO. But if you have R2, kudos to you. I do not have this figure. I definitely would pick it up now. I wouldn't pay $365 in the secondary market, but like this figure has had a meaningful rise, which is great. Supportive for the market. This is just the database that I always use. If you guys haven't checked this database out already, 6 Skill Scavengers, awesome Hot Toys database. Really great resource if you ever want to take a look at how overall market is doing. They basically have every single figure from DC, Marvel, and Hot Toys, and they have links to all of them to eBay anytime you want to just like go pop in and check out a listing. So super great resource. Obi-Wan. Continuing to do well. Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan. We still haven't seen our Clone Wars announcement of Obi-Wan. Obviously, we saw like the sneak peek and everything with him at Sideshow Con. Haven't actually seen him get released. He's continued to stay up. 550 brand new. This is definitely a high point for him. This is like the highs for him actually, which is kind of dangerous if you have an Obi-Wan and you're not, married to it. Or you definitely want to pick up the Clone Wars one. You feel like you don't need the Clone Wars one or the Revenge of the Sith one. I would keep an eye on this market. This is the highs for this figure. And if you want to get a good sale off and reinvest it back into a Clone Wars Obi-Wan that you prefer to have at retail and you're willing to wait, however long it's going to be. Now, that being said, we don't know when that figure is going to get announced. I would say I'm very surprised that it hasn't been announced yet. But if you just want to have that one, you're willing to wait like two-ish years, and maybe you don't have this guy in display and you have it in a box already, might be a good time to actually sell this guy. This is just one listing, but selling brand new for $550 is basically the highest I've ever seen this guy sell, even when Dark Side Anakin and Light Side Anakin were in the 700s. Count Dooku, 19 bits, 280. He was doing well. He got up to about $400 in the secondary market. Call it a month and a half ago, when a lot of other Star Wars figures actually weren't rising as much. Has since come down a bit, but is starting to settle a bit. Seems like in the $340-ish range. This one is not, sold listings are great on eBay, but open bids are also really important to keep your eye on, as that's always a great indicator of the market for certain figures. This one has 3 days left, 19 bids, $280. I imagine this thing probably sells on this auction for like $320-ish, $325, $330-ish range, which is more par for the course now for this Count Dooku. But this one has just had a really interesting trajectory, so interesting to see this one. Again, par for the course where he's at right now. Princess Leia. 1 day left on this auction. Only one bid, but $375. Obviously, we saw this guy. This one got up to $450 in the secondary market at the peak, right around when Hoth Luke got announced about 3-ish months ago. But she has continued to stay up. One that I actually want to take a look at right now is Bespin Leia. I think it's really interesting how well this Hoth Leia has done in the secondary market, but I don't think that Bespin Leia has still done anything besides just sit at retail. I know that it seems like people tend to prefer the Hoth Leia, but Hoth Leia basically has just as little figures to display with her as Bespin Leia. But it's interesting how Bespin Leia just doesn't really want to rise. This one has been, waitlist for a while now, and just has basically stuck at retail. Which is really unfortunate for anybody that picked up this Leia, hoping that we were going to get Bespin Han, because we still haven't. Lando is a great release for her, but Lando isn't coming out for so long that if you bought this one and you were expecting to be Bespin Han by now and you haven't, and you want to get a new figure and you don't really even want this one in your collection more because it's kind of hard to just display her on her own or display her with anyone else, you're taking a bit of a wash on it. Don't worry, I'm riding that with you. I also have my Bespin Leia that I have not displayed yet because I'm waiting for a better piece to display with her, but I have no reason to sell right now. Might as well just weather the storm. But really interesting how well Hoth Leia has done and Bespin Leia remaining at retail. Last one I want to talk about here, Grand Moff Tarkin. I love this figure. You guys know this. I love my Grand Moff Tarkin. One of my favorite figures in my collection. The head sculpt I still think is the best head sculpt that Hot Toys has done for Star Wars. Better than Director Krennic, better than Count Dooku. I love the Grand Moff Tarkin head sculpt. I also just think Grand Moff Tarkin's character is really sick. Really nice to see this guy trending upwards in the secondary market right now. This is obviously a brand new sealed one. This guy's kind of hard to find brand new sealed. Obviously, he's like what is it? 3 years old? 3 years old Hot Toy? Maybe 2.5 years old Hot Toy. But $580 is steep for a brand new Grand Moff Tarkin. I would say this figure basically held at like $375, $400 open. $350 to $400 opened in the secondary market, like on Facebook and eBay, for the better part of like a year and a half. And I've said the entire time, I said I still think this figure is undervalued. I think this is such an excellent piece. So it's supported to actually see this figure start to rise. These ones are best offer accepted, so it's hard to tell what this actually sold for. I imagine this still both of these sold for above $500. But just a lot of high sold listings lately in this guy. So, supportive to see that. I think this figure deserves it. I would never sell my Grand Moff Tarkin, but I've consistently thought this figure is undervalued. One of the better Star Wars pieces out there. But that's going to wrap up this week's Market Watch. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let me know in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of certain Hot Toys? Are there any Hot Toys that I missed that you have noticed gone up in price or down in price? Let me know in the comment section down below. As always, buy the dip, sell the rip. This is the way. We will see you in the next video.